video starts. Hello, my name's Bisma and you're in my channel. I guess you're watching my channel now. But good to see you again, my virtual friends. And it's kind of fun for me today to talk about. I'm going to talk about the Indonesia's fashion scene. Okay, a lot of Indonesian is behind on the trends in the internet sphere. I guess you could say that. But the culture and semi-Western fashion scene is we're really behind on that. Basically, I'm saying in Indonesia. And to be honest, before I start, I gotta say that I'm also a gentrified person living in a gentrified city, and my friends are all gentrified too in some degree as well. But I try to expand. So I'm making an analysis of what I guess you could say semi-analysis of what I have seen in the internet sphere. I have made my semi-analysis in what Indonesian kids are actually wearing and what are they enjoying and what they're watching. Gen Z Zers in my age group, 16 to 24, it's a diverse community, but as what I called in the title of this video, fashion is based on trends sometimes, and it's usually cyclical. Okay, and then I guess you could say it's a little bit weird seeing both sides of waters. I guess I could see the internet sphere in Indonesia as well as the internet sphere in the Western countries. Internet has brought us many cultures and subcultures as well, but it's kind of weird seeing that people in Indonesia tries and depends on things on the hypebeast culture. I guess what we used to say on the stuff that you would describe as hypebeast. And in the Western side of the hemisphere, I guess you could say people are already deviating from the hypebeast culture that's already in the market, but also they are more focusing on the archive side of things, I guess you could say. So even though they're still like quote-unquote archive beast, but I guess that's a deviation of the subculture. Let me get back into the Indonesian scene at least. While in Indonesia it's more common to see people dressing in hypebeast stuff, it's actually not really a bad thing if you think about it. I'm not saying that hypebeast culture is a bad thing. Well, it kind of is sometimes, but that's not the point. Let me explain. Okay, let me explain on that. I think Indonesia in the meantime is still trying to find its own interest and its own identity in various forms of fashion and culture as well. And I don't think Indonesia as you would think as being a fashion mecca, to be honest, but let me explain a little bit more about that. Indonesia is not really a fashion mecca, you would say, but with a lot of like Asian countries as well, we are literally blessed with, thankfully, a lot of like cultures that are rich in fashion, that are rich in food, that are rich in basic culture, culture. And then I couldn't explain a little bit more. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying, but the culture in Indonesia has a really rich association with fashion as well. They are very baroque, like very baroque, and it's usually to differentiate between like the haves and the have-nots, and it's still going on today with the hypebeast culture basically. But the art and design of the baroque culture, you could say, is very uwi mama, you could say, is very good. I'll try to put in some photos, I guess, in some of the parts, and hopefully you guys could see that. So talking about talking about that, just thinking about it makes me feel like, damn, it was a very time and diverse set of fashion reflecting the need of the ecological factors instead of us adapting to the fashion. You know what I'm saying? Like, fashion actually needs to reflect the need of the ecological factors, and remembering Indonesia is a tropical country, it really reflects on how we should wear things. So fashion, in my opinion, should reflect the need of the ecological factors, as we are using them as well in the ecological sphere of our location basically. And let me explain a little bit more. about other things first. So talking about that, the Jakartans people is basically being the mecca for the Indonesian fashion scene, basically. Indonesian fashion scene, I guess you could say. And so sorry about that. Let me talk about it more. People of Jakarta just like this, and the rest of the Indonesian people like just follows as well. And people tend to follow more Western approach in Jakarta at least. And although there are many subgenres of it, I think people still follow a narrative of Indonesian following the Western countries, and that's reflective of us being behind on the culture in 3 to 4 years, I guess. And talking about that, it's not really a good thing for sustainability as well. Sustainability in fashion is always in question, and Indonesia is one of the main contributors. Not really main, I don't really know if it's a main contributor, but we are a part of the contributor of fashion waste actually. And the usage of fashion items, common people in Indonesia basically has a more consumptive habit, and it's a trend everywhere, not just in Indonesia. I guess you could say that everywhere, not just in Indonesia. People tend to have a more consumptive habit towards fashion. And I was talking about the high beast culture in Jakarta and in Indonesia. Well, let me explain a little bit more. It tends to follow the streetwear cycle of many things going on in a more trend-wise and to be honest, it's a little bit of a hassle. By actually producing more and more brands in Indonesia that don't really follow the sustainability forum, I guess, or the sustainability narrative, it probably because of the laws or something that is very very loose, I guess you could say. But let's not get into that much. I don't really want to get into trouble, but it is a part of the problem regarding the ecological factors, and it tends to adhere to the audience of Indonesian based people, and it revolves around the sole reason of trying to gain economic gain or economic incentive basically. Okay, but this doesn't fall on Indonesian brands only. Like international brands such as Nike, Adidas, Diadora, Uniqlo, H&M, some brands actually. I don't really want to. I might be wrong on some of them, but the point is, and it still stands, that Indonesia has a lot of sweatshops, like a lot, some and a lot of them. That's a lot of them actually. Just talking about sweatshops is a really bad thing. And sorry to say, as fellow Indonesians, we are producing Nike and Adidas shoes for us to wear and for us to value more, even though it's made in our own soil, but at the same time it's produced at a lower cost just to make a dent in our economy, basically saying that. But I don't want to get in too deep about that, and let's move on. As Indonesia, it's a real big country, man. It has many advantages and disadvantages regarding the trend-wise business model, I guess you could say. In regards to more important thing that I need to address first, I want to talk about how it's actually people in Jakarta that could change actually the game. How people in Jakarta could actually change the game in some ways of people. Since people in Jakarta is actually the mecca for some people in Indonesia. Like most people in Indonesia tend to follow the people in Jakarta. And let's talk about that first. Okay, hello to the people of Jakarta that are watching my videos, and you have the right to reject. First of all, you have the right to really reject me, but I feel like we young people in Jakartans have actually the maybe semi-responsibility, or at least we need to take an action of, at least we need to take an action in our own fashionable lives, I guess you could say, which is to influence people to do good in buying more reasonable amounts of clothing. That's first. And then try to limit less of what you are wearing. That's second. And try to at least think about what we are currently contributing to the factors in our own economy and our own factors that are in ecological factors, I guess you could say, in our own ecosystem, in our own Indonesian ecosystem. I guess how, you might ask, in some questions pop up in your head, like how would I make things like this that would work actually? Let me explain on that. Well, there's some different ways you could do that. you could promote getting thrifted items. I know that it's already a trend, but let's promote getting more thrifted items. Buy sustainable and maybe more expensive items, but try to buy them less. Not that much, but you could still wear them, and sometimes. And try to reuse a lot of things that you already have. And if you want, you can actually recycle the items you have and then make some things into it. But most importantly, when you're doing it, you gotta have fun, or else you won't enjoy it. But you still can buy Indonesian brands and such. But if you want to talk about a lot more about the fashion regarding the trends and whatnot, I guess you could say you don't really need to follow trends. But that's just me, maybe. You gotta learn about a lot of stuff first. You gotta learn about a lot of stuff. Like, you gotta just put in the research and the effort to do about fashion. And you could research them about fashionable items, fashionable styling things, and learning along the way is actually a pretty common thing for people to do. And people in Jakarta literally have the accessibility and power to do it. So I ask you again, why not if you can? Now back to my more widely available audience, I guess. Okay, so maybe you might be wondering, what could you expect from Indonesian fashion scene in the future? Well, I guess you could say there's a few of them. And there's a lot of things that might happen, but there's one movement that I'm really keeping an eye on. It's called the movement of remajanusantara. I'm gonna put the thing here or something. So basically, they promote using traditional Indonesian fabrics and apply it in a more culturally diverse and more culturally important way. They basically use traditional Indonesian fabrics and use it as semi-skirts, but yeah. It's a way of people dressing in Indonesia before, so why not just use it now? Why not? I don't know. Maybe if that's not your cup of tea, well, let's see some things. Either there's a new movement of maximalism or minimalism, maybe, or maximalism part, I guess you could say. There's a fun thing and design pioneered by many of the rework artists in Indonesia. And one of them is icanharem, and he's part of Gabber, Modus, Operandi, a DJ collective specializing in like Gabber music. Basically, I can't really explain it. You guys need to check that out. And many more artists to follow. You guys could just check rework artists in Indonesia, and there's a lot of them. But let's get back to the point where what you should think about is this. As a person, what could you contribute as well? And what could you contribute to have a more sustainable living style and possibly making it into a concept? Making it into a concept and then making it into a trend and possibly making it into an applicable way of life and maybe applying it to the normal society. But hey, that's just me. And I hope people in various countries could see this as well. I really hope people could see this as well, and probably contribute to the more prevalent problem of the sustainability and saving our Earth. That's a type beat or something. Yeah, but yeah, you gotta learn, guys. There's a little really bad stuff going on regarding fashion waste. I'm not even kidding. I really hope like Indonesian maximalism, minimalism, or maybe just like remajanusantara, and then many designs that are happening in Indonesia would actually contribute to the more like cool things that we could see in the arts and fashion scene in the global sphere, I guess. And I guess that's it. I really like talking about this. I really like to talk about culture and things I'm really interested in. And if you guys want to talk or chat, I guess you guys could just comment below or just send me a DM to my Instagrams. I would happily try to answer them. That's it, I guess. That's all of the things I need to say right now, I guess. And I hope you guys would actually get some things that I would say from this and then apply it to your own self. So yeah, I guess that's it. Let's hope. And then 3, 2, 1. There's some music racks before I go, and then I gotta see some things to do first. So bye.